Hi everyone, Dr. Orna Isaacson here. I'm coming at you today to talk about 3 books that I think make great, healthy holiday presents. So I grew up in a family that was very much about books, and this was what we gave as gifts, what we got as gifts growing up. And you see what it's done to me. Not the most fun presents when you're a kid and you just want crayons, but for older kids and certainly for adults, giving a gift that is knowledge is, I don't know, it strikes me as an amazing thing, but of course that's how I was raised and what I've turned into. So I want to talk about 3 books that I keep on my desk during office visits, and when I finish doing the intake with my patient and I go into the medicinary to pull together their supplements or their herbal formula or their flower essence formula, I usually hand them one of these books that lives in a stack on my desk. And I hope that they look at the books and not just at their phone. And so these are books that I think that most people can really benefit from in terms of understanding ways to have a healthier life. So the first 2 books are about healthy eating, and the second is my favorite thing, nature and how nature helps us with our health. So first book, this is one of my very, very favorite books. They're all my very, very favorite books, is Eating on the Wild Side by Joe Robinson. So this book offers a great discussion of different varieties of fruits and vegetables, how to get the most nutrition from those fruits and vegetables, and how to choose the most nutritious varieties in the grocery store, at the farmer's market, or if you're able to grow your own from seed catalogs or tree catalogs. Now, Joe Robinson, what she did in this book is she went through all of the information she could find about the history of the fruits and vegetables she covers and the nutritional research into the fruits and vegetables she covers. So she talks about things like the history of how nutrition has been bred out of our food, because the push has been to have things that are sweeter or that store longer or that ship better, not necessarily varieties that are more nutritious for us. There are some counterexamples. And she talks about the varieties, she talks about the research, she does the comparisons. She also gives you really cool tips about ways to maximize the nutrition from what you do buy. So for instance, one of my favorite factoids that she lists in here is that to pull the most nutrients out of your lettuce, you want to use fat. And maybe that's part of why we use salad dressing, not just that it tastes good, but it optimizes our nutrition. But the research shows that you need 7 times as much soybean oil as olive oil to get the same amount out of your lettuce. So this book is full of things like that. Here you can see I put little notes about areas that I had underlined, and my whole book is like a mass of underlining. And I actually met her at a conference a couple of years ago, and I was like super Beatlemania fangirl. So it's a great book, very easy to read, useful charts and things like that. You don't have to read it all at once. It's not that kind of book. Great book. Eating on the Wild Side, Joe Robinson. Second book that I really love and I hand to my patients often is this, Food as Medicine Every Day. This was written by colleagues of mine from National University of Natural Medicine. It's changed names 3 times since I've been involved with it. Julie Briley and Courtney Jackson were classmates of mine and when we were in school, and colleagues of mine when I ran the Traditional Roots Institute there. So this is also the name of their 12-week cooking and nutrition course, and I'll put a link to that in the comments too. This is basically the textbook of their class, and it is a great resource for basics of nutrition, whole food nutrition. So the whole idea is whole foods. You can see everything on here is something that you can recognize as what it is. And they talk about the 3 macronutrients, so protein, fat, and carbohydrates / fiber. And they talk about healthy ways to eat breakfast, ways to manage stress in eating, and specific ideas for balancing blood sugar with food and things like that. They also have a section at the back with recipes from their class. I'm looking for one with a good picture for you. Here's one, bean and veggie chili. Doesn't that look good? Yum. So this is a great book for people who are trying to figure out the basics, like how do you manage this? What is healthy? So this includes research studies that show there's a lot of controversy in the research, and you can cherry pick to say that this diet is the best, or that diet is the best, or that diet is the best. But the research basically all comes down to the idea that a whole foods diet ultimately is the best, and then you can choose how you weight the different macronutrients or the different sources of foods. This is a great book, not controversial. So this is fine for your paleo people. This is fine for your vegans. It's a really good introduction to the basics of nutrition and whole foods. So Food is Medicine Every Day, Julie Briley, Courtney Jackson. And I will have links to all of these in the comments below. And then the final book that I want to talk about today is on a little bit of a different theme. This one is about nature and how nature helps us stay healthy. So I talk about this a lot, about nature for mood, nature for reducing stress, nature for supporting the immune system. There's an incredible amount of research and a growing body of research showing that many ways in which nature helps us heal when we're ill, helps prevent illness, and helps us maintain our resilience. And the most accessible book that I have found on this subject is this book, The Nature Fix by Florence Williams. Now, one of the cool things about this book is that Florence is a journalist. So this is a book about science, but it's super accessible because she's telling it as story. So she talks about research where you see her going into the research lab and getting the things on her head and being part of the experiment. And she talks about going out with researchers into wild areas and what they talk about over the fire and how they conceptualize these things. So so it's more active and story-based than just this study found blah, blah, blah. It's a really, really fun book and a really comprehensive review of the literature. So I'm a real big fan of this, The Nature Fix by Florence Williams. So as you can see, I have lots of books. I love all of the books, and I'm happy to talk about more books. If there are other topics that you're interested in and you'd like me to talk about my favorite books, for instance, herb books, I will do a video about that. If there are any other things where you're looking for book recommendations, just let me know in the comments and I will happily talk about them. So if you like this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button, just down there somewhere. And please do share this with people. I will include in the comments below a link to my blog post with more ideas about healthy holiday presents. And I wish you all a very happy and healthy holiday season. Bye.